Hello and welcome back to Closely Observed Teaching. Here's another Zoom lesson idea for you. This time we're going to explore some of the English lexis that comes from other languages or that is related to other languages. And to do this, we're going to use Duolingo and specifically these lovely Duolingo stories. So let's go straight in. So for this, you will need a Duolingo account, but it's free. So it's not really the end of the world that you have to sign up for something. So here we are at Duolingo. So I already have an account and I can log in. Lucky that it remembers my password for me. I have no idea what it is these days. Right, okay, so here's the Duolingo landing page, and as you can see right now I'm studying French, Polish and Spanish to different degrees of success. I'm not really that interested in these, so I'm going to go straight to the stories. And we're going to do these stories in more than one language, partly because they're great, but also because we want to explore these stories for the language that they offer us. Okay, so I'm going to go in for the first one, good morning. Now, a little warning, you can either do this straight off the bat with your students and you can kind of see how it goes, or you could do a bit of research by doing the stories first and then looking into the language and doing a little bit of lateral thinking or out of the box thinking. And in terms of level, I don't know, any sort of level of probably B1 and above, because you need maybe a little bit of we're going to be looking at a slightly more advanced language, so maybe B2, C1. I've done this with students at B2 level, did this as a one-to-one yesterday, it worked very well, and I did it with my C2 students. So far I've had very positive responses to this lesson idea, because students aren't expecting, first of all, a fun story, and secondly, a fun story in a language that is not their mother tongue, and it's not English either. This is going to be in French. We're also going to do it in Spanish, and we're going to do it in German. And the students that you have might know these languages already, and that's fine. But here in Poland, Spanish is an option for students at school, and German is an option for students at school. So some of the students will actually learn something that they can use in other lessons. They might come back to Duolingo and brush up on their other language skills. But anyway, the reason that I'm doing this is because I've long said to my students that if you want to get good at English, it's quite useful to also spend some time learning another language, French, German, Spanish, something like that, so you can see the connections, where there are connections, where there are differences.
Bonjour.
But we're not going to go into Duolingo to learn just the language. We're going to do the stories, because the stories are fun. I like their stories. So this is the French one. Bonjour. So the narrator introduces
Jean
us.
est à la maison avec sa femme, Marion.
There we go. So John is at home with his wife, Marion.
Salut Marion.
Salut. So, salut. That's a greeting, isn't it? Let's bring up our annotate, because this is interesting, isn't it? Everything's interesting in my book. Salut. Can you think of another way to greet somebody with this word? Let's think. Oh, we also say to salute somebody. And when do we say that? What's the context in which it appears? Well, it's more likely to be military. You salute somebody. But hey, look, it's similar, isn't it? Interesting. Let's see how many other words we can find that are similar.
Salut, mon chéri.
Mon chéri. So my darling. Sherry. We don't really say Sherry. We have the name Sherry. There was a Sherry Blair who was married to a prime minister in the UK. But do we not have another word that means from the heart? You have something in your heart. Can anyone tell me? That's right. To cherish. Very good. Yes. So what does mon chéri mean? It means my darling. Well done. And I love this. You get 2 points.
Où est mon livre d'anglais?
Where is my English book? Of course, English books are very important. Everyone's had this conversation at one time or another.
Pardon?
Excuse me.
J'ai un examen d'anglais à l'université.
So a lot of this is very similar. We don't really need to note it if it is pretty much directly similar. University.
Où est mon livre?
Where is my book?
Il est ici, sur la table, Marion.
It's here on the table, Marion.
Je suis fatiguée, Jean. Je travaille beaucoup.
I am tired. In fact, look at that. Fatigué. They say fatigué for tired. Don't we have something like that? Fatigue. Interesting. What's the difference between tired and fatigue? Talk to your partners or send a message in the chat. Can you tell me? And look, je travaille beaucoup. I work a lot. Now, we don't really say travail, but we do have this word travails. Travails. Wow, interesting. What's that you say? You don't see what that means? Well, let's do a little bit of research very quickly. Travails. So here's the Guardian newspaper. And oh, look, Labour's triumphs, travails, and the search for a leader. And here we've got NBA's travails in China, a cautionary tale for the Premier League. Ah, okay, so some sort of difficult work. Isn't it wonderful that we have the internet right at our fingertips and we can use Google the right way using this colon to look for a word on a website? I like it. Anyway, we'll continue. Tired was one of these. Fatigué.
Tu veux une tasse de café?
Do you want a cup of coffee?
Oui, merci.
Yes.
Voilà.
Here it is. That was pretty quick. That was good service.
Marion met du sucre dans sa tasse.
Sucre. So sugar. She puts some sugar in. There we go.
Elle boit son café.
And then she drinks her coffee.
Bark.
I like that. I don't think she's happy. That's yuck.
Quoi?
What? What, quoi? Yes.
C'est du sel.
It's salt.
Marion,
Terrible.
tu es très fatiguée.
You're very tired. So Marion was so tired that she put salt in her coffee instead of sugar. And then finally, at the end of this little story, we get to select the pairs of words that we've heard. So this is fun. You know, your students might not think that they want to learn another language, but it's a quick and easy way to do it. So we've passed that. I'm going to leave this language here. We'll see if we can get some more. And I'm going to switch now to Spanish.
Buenos días.
It's the same story. It's great because your students will have learned the story by now.
Héctor está en casa con su esposa María.
So Hector's at home with his wife Maria, but let's look at this. Esposa. Can anyone tell me? Let's change the color, shall we? So we see the difference as we go through. Esposa. Does that sound like something? Esposa is wife, but what's the word we might use for wife or husband? We could have anybody? Oh yes, very good. Well done, Mihao. Spouse. Look at that. Very good.
Buenos días, María.
Oh, he's nice and cheerful, isn't
Buenos días, mi amor.
he? Mi amor, my love, amor. We know this, don't we?
¿Dónde está mi libro de inglés?
And she's also looking for her English
¿Perdón?
book.
Tengo un
And-
examen de inglés en la universidad.
She's also got an English exam.
Necesito mi libro.
So she says, I need, using necesito. Now that looks a lot like, very good, Ola, necessary. Gosh, look at this. We're building up quite a lot of good English language without even looking at English. We're looking at other languages.
María, tu libro está aquí, en la mesa.
In la mesa. Oh, look at that. Mesa is a table. Now, I know a little bit about military life because my dad was in the Royal Marines, and he told me this story that when you're invited to the officers' mess, you shouldn't expect that there will be lots of clutter and junk everywhere, but rather a large table. And this will be a place at which you sit and eat. Military officers' mess. Let's have a look. So yes, the mess is an area where military personnel socialize, eat, and in some cases live. But you can see that there's a table right in the middle. So mess and mesa must be connected somehow. Interesting, huh?
Perdón, mi amor. Estoy cansada.
No, she's tired.
¿Quieres café?
Would you like a coffee?
Sí, por favor.
Of course.
¿Con o sin leche?
Con o sin leche. So leche is our milk.
Sin leche.
And
Aquí
she wants
está.
one. Here it is. Wow, he's quick as well.
María pone azúcar en el café.
Pone. She puts sugar in the coffee. Puts. Pone. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Let's think. Well, currently we're suffering from this kind of lockdown situation, and it's affected the sports, hasn't it? The football matches, for example. But the football matches haven't been cancelled. They've been moved. What's that? Yes, that's right. We have the verb to postpone. What does it mean exactly? Well, pon, we've just seen, is put, and post would be after. So you're putting something after or later. Very good. We're postponing it.
Ella bebe
She
su
drinks
café.
coffee.
¡Ay,
Oh
no!
no.
¿Qué?
What?
¡Eso es sal!
Sal. Sal for salt. We've kind of lost that T a little bit. Sal. Can you think of any other words beginning with sal? Salary. Oh, interesting. And we have the expression to be worth his salt, which is also connected with this idea of money. There must be something there. We could investigate it in the etymological dictionary, certainly. Why not? Let's go in and salary, compensation or payment from the stipend, originally salt money, soldier's allowance for the purchase of salt. Interesting. And then if we look at that other expression that looks so juicy, so nice, worth his salt. Have a look at this. We've got some nice ones here. There's a place where any cricketer worth his salt wants to play. So somebody who is good enough to justify being paid for it. Something along those lines. That's a nice expression. I like it.
¡No es azúcar!
It's not sugar.
María, estás muy cansada.
Oh, she's very tired.
Sí, necesito más café. Con azúcar, no con sal.
Absolutely. So she put salt in her coffee, and again we can link these words. And I get my points. That's not bad. I'm already on 46 points for the day. I'm glad I made this video. Now, if you wanted to, you could then go into one of the other languages for the stories. They've got Portuguese, they've got German. They're really good. I spent some time yesterday with a student who is also studying German at school, and she says that she's struggling with German because she doesn't like it. But her attitude changed quite remarkably within about a space of half an hour or so doing German and doing the German stories, because they were fun and funny, and introduced her to some new language that she didn't know in German. But we also got to learn some English. For example, there's one story where one of the characters says that she's a vegetarian. She doesn't eat meat. Now, in German, of course, meat is Fleisch. So in English, we say Fleisch. And you can add that to the list just here. Okay, so I'll stop there because you kind of get the idea, but this is a great little lesson that you can do with one-to-ones and small groups. Consider as well with lower levels using Duolingo in its original form as a way of getting students a bit more practice in English. It has its limitations, I grant you, but it is fun. I like it. I think it's a good way to get to A2 level in a language, and it just makes the exploration of other languages more of a joy of discovery. So that's it for this little lesson. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel, and see you next time. Thank you all very much. Let's clear that. And goodbye.